Well, hello. It's been a minute. It's been an interesting last 2 weeks. Um, I took 2 weeks to really absorb the material from week 6. I didn't feel like I really had it down after only a week. I needed more time to sit with it. And also, I was really busy and I got sick. I had food poisoning and had to take antibiotics, but I'm fine now and rehydrated. So, week 6, recovering a sense of abundance. I was really apprehensive going into this week because I was afraid that she was just going to start going into some oh, you can manifest anything type white people bullshit that white people are always saying. And I really, really hate that shit. A belief that I have around money, this week wasn't just about money, but obviously it did have something to do with it. A belief that I have a lot of difficulty working through, because sometimes it's actually true, is that if you want money or you want to make more money, you're probably just a selfish person who aspires to be successful under capitalism. And that's really what I've been tackling the last few weeks. And it's hard too, because that is literally true for most people. So, week 6 asks us to dig into our beliefs about money, and particularly the belief that it's not possible to be creative or do the things we want to do unless we have more money. Julia says, we cling to our financial concerns as a way to avoid not only our art, but also our spiritual growth. Our faith is in the dollar. Basically, what she's saying is we use our lack of money to avoid addressing the real problems behind why we say we can't create, and money is always a really easy excuse. And I found it to be true for sure. I mean, I especially have no excuses because of how much my art and my drag revolves around DIY and making trash into art. And I consider myself to be punk, which is DIY. I get shit from the thrift and then I make it into what I want it to be. And that's part of the fun for me. Part of the fun for me is how am I going to do something and buy as few new materials as possible? But at the same time, I'm still oh, well, if I had the money and I had all these resources, I would be able to do this and that and blah, blah, blah. When okay, in reality, if I had more money, I might buy a better wig. Everyone should get what should be paid their worth for their work, but I can't afford a $400 custom wig, so I'm learning how to style. I didn't realize that I was putting all my faith into money instead of trusting that I could find a way to do something without the money if I really wanted to. It was a shocking discovery because I always thought I don't believe in money, which I don't. It shouldn't exist. But I really was hinging my creativity on money. My faith was in the dollar, and I was the truth is, some of the best work I've ever done was when I was living in a garage with no heating or insulation during the winter in a town where it was in the 20s or teens every night. I had to sleep under a heated blanket with a beanie on to be warm enough to sleep. Of course, I would have liked to have more money back then, and of course, it would have made me more comfortable and my partner more comfortable, and I would never want to go back and live in that situation again. But I wouldn't necessarily say my creativity suffered. we'd scrape together, be like, okay, we have $50, we have $75. And I'd be like, okay, like, that's how much I have. That's how much I can spend on my materials. And I would just have to do it because if I had a show coming up, I had nothing else. That was how much money I had. So we're going to have to make it work. And most of the time, most of the money like went towards buying a wig. So I'm in a much better situation now, luckily. So why am I telling myself I need more money to do what I want to do? Oh my God, one of my cats is trapped in the closet behind the camera. All right, I gotta let him out. So yeah, why am I telling myself I need more money to do what I want to do? I don't know, because it's not true. And I've done some really amazing things with nothing, which is beautiful. And also, like, fuck overconsumption. Most people can't ignore the dire situation that is their finances. But why does this mean we have to close our minds and think that nothing good could ever happen, and that we have to ignore our urge to create and be more sensible? To me, that sounds a lot like what capitalism wants us to do. Like, to be so worried about money all the time that we just like don't even consider the possibility that we could even try. We're so focused on our horrible situations that we give up our creativity and just surrender ourselves to the maw of wage slavery. This isn't anything that Julia is saying, but this is just like conclusions that I came to on my own. But I do have a quote. Julia says, "We have tried to be sensible, rather than see if the universe might not have supported some healthy extravagance. Creativity is not and never has been sensible." This really resonated with me because, like, yeah, of course it's not sensible. Of course. Being sensible to me is code for assimilating into capitalism. Focus on the sensible thing to do. What is the prescribed sensible thing to do? Forget what you actually want and get a degree, if that's even like the class that you're born into. Otherwise, it's just get a job, have a family, and enjoy mindless consumerism built on the backs of literally almost everyone else in the world. For me, creativity is the antidote to the poison of sensibility. Because creativity, it can help us imagine life without capitalism. Which isn't to say like, oh, we can imagine this beautiful utopia, blah, blah. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we can imagine life without capitalism right now. Whatever that may be for you. Choosing creativity over sensibility helps us believe that other things are possible besides how we're living right now. We don't have to wait for some like utopic bullshit that's never going to come. Like, we can just do it now. For me, that possibility lies in sweet, sweet destruction. But whatever it means for you, that's great. Julia says, art requires us to empower ourselves with choice. And that's exactly what I'm getting at too. Creativity requires self-empowerment. And this goes back to the discussion of art as a communal experience from week 5. If we choose creativity over sensibility, we're showing ourselves and others that there is a choice. I feel like so many people are living every day thinking they don't have a choice. Which, there's always things we can't control right now. But there's so many choices I feel like we don't even realize are there because we're not looking for them. We can say no to what is prescribed for us. We can reject this pre-made path. It's empowering as fuck. Don't be fucking sensible. Don't be sensible. Julia says what we really want to do is what we are really meant to do. I'm finally starting to believe that. Speaking of empowerment, Julia brings up that many of us blame our lack of creativity on not having enough money, when really the blockage that's occurring is our sense of powerlessness. Constantly thinking about our lack of money when it comes to creativity is always going to leave us feeling hopeless about it. I'm sure there's people working on TV shows and feature films for HBO. They're like, oh my God, I don't have enough fucking money. When they're like, they've got like tens of millions of dollars behind the production. It doesn't matter how much money you have. But feeling hopeless about it is right where the state wants us to be. If we feel powerless in the face of our impoverished lives under capitalism, we'll never challenge it. We'll just continue on miserable as capitalist and consumerist cultures steal and eat up more and more of our time, energy, and joy. Art requires us to empower ourselves with choice, and without empowering ourselves to choose to say no to the prescribed paths that are laid out for us, we won't ever consider the possibility of freedom. We won't ever consider that we can actually make shit happen. I'm not telling anyone to quit their job, even though I wish I could quit my job. I'm just saying how important it is that we don't let capitalism steal any more of our time and our sense of autonomy. We can't let it keep stealing every fucking thing. Think about how much we come home from work just to immerse ourselves in consumerism. TikTok, Instagram, binge watching whatever bullshit is popular on Netflix that everyone will forget within a week. People post on the internet that they literally can't wait to get home from their job so they can scroll on their phone for hours. And I'm really not, I swear I am not trying to put anyone down when I say that that is so fucking concerning. I mean, I have those days too where I'm just too fucking tired, but honestly, ever since I took a big step away from social media, even when I'm exhausted, I just don't fucking want to look at it. And that's not just to avoid shit that I don't want to see. I just literally don't want to look at it. But what I'm trying to say is that capitalism has found a way to be in our lives every moment that we're awake, and our brains crave it more than anything. And the more we give into the craving, the more difficult it becomes to create. Our brains are wired to take the path of least resistance. And so, of course, making art feels hard when TikTok is right there. Of course, we don't want to challenge ourselves when we just want easy dopamine when our jobs are so emotionally and physically exhausting. I just can't emphasize enough how important it is that we stop giving in to this impulse. I know it's hard. It's so hard. But we have to, for the sake of art. We have to empower ourselves with the choice to say, no, I'm not going to let capitalism take up literally every second of my day except for when I'm sleeping. And they would advertise in our sleep if they could. We have to allow ourselves to believe that if we choose creativity instead of being plugged into the immediacy that colonialism demands of us, we can make actual changes. Time is a luxury. We have to find as many ways as we can to reclaim it. Because I am done letting colonialism steal my time, my intelligence, and my joy. And that's what I've spent the last few weeks like thinking about abundance. I always thought like, oh, I don't have any time. I don't have any money. First of all, I know how to make it work with less money. And second of all, I do have time. I just need to restructure it and I need to reclaim it and I need to get off my fucking phone, which I have been, and it's been really nice. One last thing I want to talk about, which obviously this probably isn't going to be relatable, but this is my fucking video diary. So, as a spiritual practitioner, what some people may call a witch, money has always been a difficult subject for me. Why would I use magic or ask the spirits or my deities for something as ridiculous as money? It shouldn't even exist. Isn't it a betrayal of my beliefs to ask for it? I've seen this question answered a million times by practitioners from a number of faiths, all colonized people, faiths of colonized people. And they all say more or less the same thing. Regardless of what we believe, money is part of the physical realm. And it's a reality that we can't ignore. We ask our spirits and use our power to deal with other things in the physical realm. So why is money out of the question? I think a lot of people see that, like, who has the money, and they don't want to be like them. And that's how I feel about it too. I've always been afraid that if I had more money, I would lose sight of my beliefs and become just another sellout who built my career on radical politics, only to abandon them to make more money. But after these last few weeks really diving into this and really thinking about this, I feel a lot more confident in being like, yeah, I actually do need more money. I could use more money. Couldn't we all? And maybe I should find a way to get it by doing what I'm good at. What I want to do is what I'm meant to do. I know who I am. I know what my beliefs are. If I have more money, it means that people I care about will have more money. And it means that people who need it more than me will have more money. And that's something that I know for sure. So now I am open to the possibility. I know who I am. I feel like I've been super weird filming this video, but I'm just like in a weird place right now. So I think it's interesting how that will reflect. For my artist date this week, I'm really into this thing called junk journaling, which is essentially just like collaging with trash, like with found objects, instead of buying like scrapbook paper and shit. So, and I hadn't done it in a while. So I made myself like sit down and get out all my trash and like newspapers and shit that I'd collected and made myself a collage. And I will show a picture of it. I don't feel as enthusiastic as I have, but I don't feel discouraged. I think I'm kind of just becoming more of who I am, which is just kind of, I don't want to say reserved because I'm not a reserved person, but I don't know. I don't know how to put my finger on it. But that's where I'm at. And I'm halfway through this now, and I'm really, really happy about where it's going. I'm really excited for all of the ways that I feel my ideas coming back to me, and I'm working on like several different things at the moment, and I feel very motivated and excited to complete them. Week 7, this coming week, is about recovering a sense of connection. I don't really know what that means, but I guess when I sit down to talk about it next, then we'll know.